the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, one of the hottest QBs in the league, and we are thrilled to have him here on the show. We greatly appreciate prior to a big game against the Oakland Raiders this weekend. He's Ryan Tannehill. How are you, sir?
Hey, Rich, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
You sure are, man. You sure are. Very rare do I start an interview with "How does it feel?" But I think that is a great way to start based on the journey to have you call in with the last 6 weeks that you've had.
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, it's been a kind of a wild season for me. You know, different situation to start the year, but it's been fun. Last 6 weeks, having a lot of fun, have a lot of confidence in the guys around me, and big opportunity in front of us. Just taking it one game at a time. Yep.
And so, why did you decide to sign with the Titans? Walk me through your non-playing season decision making, Ryan.
You know, I actually got traded here. Little known fact, but traded here, and so didn't really have a whole lot of option.
Right, I forgot about that.
But it's worked out well.
So when you got traded to Tennessee, what was going through your mind?
Well, I knew I was coming in, primarily to sign as a backup and be ready if my opportunity was called. So that was a different situation for me. Tough for the off season and really, going into the season. It was an adjustment and just had to kind of find my way. It was all new for me. So lean on some guys that I've played with in the past and former players and just try to make the best of the situation. Be ready if my number's called, and then try to help out as much as I could. And finally got my opportunity, and like I said, having a lot of fun since.
Who did you lean on specifically?
Matt Moore was one guy I did, just because I played for so long with him in Miami, and he was such a great backup for me. Over 6 years in Miami, did this great job supporting me, and always seemed to play well when he did go in. So, ton of respect for Matt, and obviously he's got some playing time this year in Kansas City. And happy for him.
It is amazing. The journeys are amazing, Ryan. Right? I mean, Matt was a teacher. He was at Kyler Murray's pro day, man. I mean, that was.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Right?
It's unbelievable. He, we're still good friends, and I was talking to him, and before the season started, he's like, "Yeah, I'm coaching whatever. We want to come visit you guys. We're thinking, maybe mid-November, before Thanksgiving, something like that." And it turns out the game that they were thinking about coming to was Kansas City. Little did he know he was going to be there in about 3 weeks, and coming here anyways.
That's amazing. So what advice, if you don't mind revealing, what advice did he give you that you were able to take to heart that got you prepared for the season in the manner that you liked?
Yeah, I think his main point was just, go have fun and, do the best you can, preparing, have fun on the scout team. You get to try stuff that you wouldn't normally try. If you're running the first team reps, you're basically looking at a card and going out trying to execute. So you can try throws, try situations that you wouldn't normally try in a game or anything like that, and kind of figure out, if you can bring anything into your game. And at the same time, just take a ton of mental reps when you're watching the tape and watching from the back whenever the first team is going.
Ryan Tannehill, Titans starting quarterback, going into a big game against the Raiders in the Black Hole, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. 3 head coaches, 5 offensive coordinators in 8 years, best I can tell. Is that an accurate rundown of what you've had since coming off the campus?
I think so. It all kind of runs together. It was a lot of craziness down there, but yeah, it was a wild ride, but like you said, big game this week for us, and we're excited for the opportunity we have.
Now, I know you want to look down the road. If you don't mind, just one last on the way back machine. Do you think you got a fair shake in the first few years of your career, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize. It was a learning journey for me. I learned a lot. I grew up a lot. As a player, as a person, as a leader. Just everything that happened to me. Down in Miami. Good, bad, and the ugly, and everything in between. Like I said, learned a lot, and definitely can carry that forward, as this thing goes ahead.
Sure. What is the one thing you did learn, if you could just pull out the most important thing that you did learn from 2012 through 2018 for you?
I mean, I learned so many lessons. It's tough to pull one thing, but just off the top of my head is control what you can control, and make the best of whatever situation you're in, and be the best person and football player you can be. There's a lot of things that go on, in the building, outside of the building, in the media, the fans. And at the end of the day, you have to, like I said, do what you can do to be the best man and football player you can be.
Ryan Tannehill here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so how is Vrabel different from the guys that have coached you in the NFL?
Oh, I mean, Vrabel's unique. He's a former player. I think he's the only, former player that's a head coach that I've played for, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Played a long time, have a ton of respect for him as a player. I remember watching him catch touchdowns when I was a kid, with the Patriots. It seemed like every time he was in, he was catching a touchdown.
That's right.
Don't forget, he doesn't let us forget it. So
what do you mean?
He's constantly reminding us about his touchdown ratio and touchdown catches and all that. So
right, but
just in jest, but it's fun. He's a great leader. He does a good job of setting the tone from the front of the room, day in and day out, what he expects from us, and just communicating, across the board of what we expect as a team, as an offense, as defense, as special teams.
Yeah, I mean, you're a converted receiver, right, Ryan? I mean, you've got some touchdown catches yourself from your.
I do. I have a couple. That was a long time ago.
That was a very, very long time ago, for sure. But it just really is amazing how things work out. What about, because you said, obviously, Matt Moore and you had a strong relationship based on the past. What about you and Mariota? Obviously, this is the franchise that drafted him second overall a couple years after you came into the league. What has that been like with you and for you, Ryan?
Yeah, Marcus has been great. We have a great relationship. Obviously, extremely tough situation for him. Being drafted here, being here, 5 years, and he really has his roots here. And everyone in the building loves him. I love him. He's a great man and a good football player. So, ton of respect for Marcus and the person he is. So he's handled this situation like a true professional. Like I said, tough situation, but he comes to work every day. Does the best he can and supports me along the way. So definitely, my respect has only grown for Marcus through this process.
And what's it like in the huddle with Lawan? Taylor's a fellow Michigan man. I've had him on this show quite a bit. He's got his own podcast where he has it in a bus that doesn't move with no motor. But what is it? Do you have to calm him down sometimes, Ryan?
Not in the huddle. It's more like after the play, before we get to the huddle. Usually by the time we're in the huddle, he's calmed down a little bit. But everyone kind of knows what Taylor is, and he's an emotional player, plays with a lot of energy and passion. And there's been a few times where he's jawing with the player or thinking about getting into something extracurricular.
Yeah.
And we have to pull back the reins a little bit. But like I said, guy's extremely talented, plays with a ton of energy and passion, and that translates to the guys around him as well.
Have you been on his pod yet? Have you done it?
I have not yet. He mentioned it a while back, but we haven't lined it up yet.
No, I know. I just he's asked me, just so you know why I haven't been on yet, is I refuse to go on his Bussin' with the Boys podcast, Ryan, until the bus moves. You know what I mean? Like, that's the idea.
I mean, that's only fair, right? Because right now it shouldn't be considered a bus if it doesn't move.
It's just a room that happens to be looking like a bus. If he puts a motor in it and it drives, that's when I will actually be on the pod.
It's basically a non-functioning trailer.
Yes.
No engine. You got to pull it around.
Exactly. But I don't think the podcast could be called, what did you call it? Non-functioning trailer? You can't call it
Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it?
No, non-functioning trailing with the boys does not. I don't think people are going to be downloading that for sure.
Probably not.
I'm just going through, I'm trying to say off the top of my head, but I can't remember. Is this going to be your first visit to the Black Hole, or have you been there before, Ryan?
It is my first visit. I'm excited. I think I've been to almost every stadium at this point. So played Oakland obviously several times. I think the one time was an Oakland home game was actually in London. I think that was in 2014. But yeah, so I'm excited for the opportunity to go out and experience the Black Hole.
So would it be fair to say that you're playing with house money here? And by that I mean the fact that you can, if you wish, make your own decision on your destination by the end of the year, and you are getting an opportunity that perhaps you didn't think you would have handed to you to start, let alone to start for a team that's on such a terrific roll with a chance to make the playoffs and go beyond. Is it fair to call that you are playing with house money right now, Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm excited and thankful for the opportunity. Like you said, I didn't know what really was gonna happen when I signed here. To primarily back up Marcus, and I knew I wanted to be ready in case, God forbid, he got injured or an opportunity arose. So I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I'm excited for what we have in front of us here. With this game up in Oakland, it's going to be a tough stretch here to end the year for us, and we're going to have to play well. We're only on the right track. We haven't finished anything yet, so we'll just have to keep it going, and we'll see what happens.
And have you given any thought to your own personal contractual situation at all?
No, at this point in time, I can't control any of that. So I'm just trying to go out and play the best football I can and lead this team to wins. And I feel like, actually, I know that the rest will take care of itself.
All right, you got a good Marino story at all, Ryan? You got a good one?
Most of Marino stories are a little too lively, I think, for public radio.
Come on, really? No kidding.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
A lot of good ones, but I guess here's the best advice. Not the best advice, but one of the first things Marino told me. I'm like, hey, Dan, anything you can tell me, you can help me out. He's like, hey, guy, just pick your guy and let it fly. So that was one of the first things he told me. I always remember that.
Just pick your guy and let it fly. That's what Dan Marino told you.
That's it. Pick your guy and let it fly.
How cool is that Dan Marino would say that to you, right? Like you're talking about.
Dan was great. Just having him around. He was around a lot. For several years there in Miami. So just having him around, talking ball with him, and always had a great one-liner to throw at us. So it was good having Dan around.
Dan, I assume you were an Ace Ventura Pet Detective fan as well. Correct? Would I assume that?
No question. That was like middle of my childhood.
Right, and there you are for the Dolphins, where Ray Finkel had laces out, and now Dan Marino's telling you to just pick your guy and let it fly. That's so cool, man. That is pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for calling in. I know you don't do this stuff very often, and I appreciate you accepting our invitation. I've enjoyed watching the last 6 weeks. I'm always about the journey, and you've got an incredible opportunity in front of you. So good luck with that.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. When you see Lawan later today, ask him if he's got the engine for his bus yet. Will you, please?
I will. He'll probably have some lame excuse. Don't worry.
Understood. Understood. Take care of yourself, man.
All right. Thanks, Rich.
You got it. That's Ryan Tannehill, Titans quarterback.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.